Since the launch of the free-to-play online Action-RPG Genshin Impact, the game has gained a number of updates, not only adding new characters to the game, but new regions, activities, player housing, story, and much more. In this video, we are going to go over whether the game is worth your time in 2022. Big thanks to Epic Games for sponsoring this video. Be sure to use our creator code VEXTRALIFE at checkout if you decide to pick up this game for free in the Epic Games Store, as it helps support the channel. The link is in the description of this video. A lot has happened since the launch of Genshin Impact back in September 2020, adding some new features and more since the game was first released. The free-to-play title has had a slew of content updates, plus a number of interesting characters added to its forever growing roster. The online action RPG doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon, but you may be wondering if it's worth playing the game in 2022. We go over what this game has to offer, including gameplay, dungeons, co-op, open world, and more. Players will follow the story of the brother and sister who have been torn apart, with one sibling getting sucked into another dimension. Depending on whether you choose the brother or sister, you will see the story play out from their perspective. But other than that, there won't be any differences in how the narrative progresses. You then find yourself in an unfamiliar world trying to get back to your sibling. You then meet your companion sidekick for the game, Paimon, a small fairy type character who will accompany you throughout your journey with some comical input here and there. If you enjoy questing and story, Genshin Impact has a lot to throw at you. New Archon quests or main chapters are released frequently, plus a number of story quests for each character. The voice acting is done really well, having the main story voiced by each of these characters, and there are a few options for different languages. The cutscenes will have your chosen traveller appear in each scene, making for an immersive experience. Together with its fun and cheerful cast of characters, well, some are a bit more gloomy than others, but it fits their background. It's hard not to get sucked into the world of Genshin Impact. One of Genshin Impact's key draws is its open world. It is truly impressive, offering a number of ways to get around, including exploring by glider, fast travel, climbing, and also using the Wave Rider, your own personal boat, to get to and from areas that aren't easily reached. This means you can enjoy Teyvat in a number of different ways, not just on foot, but from above and even on the water. Fast travel also doesn't cost you anything to travel, meaning once you unlock a point, you're free to revisit without limitation. Special areas like Inazuma also have unique mechanics such as the Electrogranum charge points to reach new heights and even solve puzzles. This is something that Genshin Impact does really well with, providing an amazing experience when it comes to traveling around. It just seems to get better with each new region added. The world is expansive, with certain areas gaining their own unique mechanics, such as Dragonspire having a cold meter mechanic, which means you will need to avoid being in the cold for too long or you begin to take damage. Or in Inazuma, which has electro damage in some areas, which can result in terrible thunderstorms that can strike your character. This makes discovering different regions more like an adventure. You can even drop into another player's world to take on some world bosses or simply farm some items. The fact that players can join each other's worlds makes teaming up much easier. This is really Genshin's selling point, as the world is just really stunning. The gameplay in Genshin Impact uses a party system, meaning you'll have 4 characters in a group switching between them to create elemental reactions to create further damage. Enemies in the world will also have their own elements, meaning using another element can weaken them or make them more susceptible. The elements in the game include fire, which is pyro, water, hydro, electricity, electro, frost, cryo, nature, dendro, and wind, anemo. Each player starts with a traveller who wields anemo, which can be combined with other elements with swirl, making for some great combinations. The action RPG combat is very fluid. Swapping characters may take some practice at first, but becomes second nature the more you play. There is quite a bit of challenging content as you level your characters, and it will depend on gaining further artifacts, enhancing weapons, and making your character stronger to prepare for more difficult content such as the Abyss, floor-by-floor levels, and higher level domains. Each character has their own set of unique skills depending on their vision or element. For example, Fischl is armed with a bow and has an electro vision. She can cast a bird that deals electro damage, using her bow to hit enemies together with this electro ability. Different characters can play different roles. Some can heal as well as inflict damage. While you cannot change their weapon type, you can use a mix of characters that wield different weapons to add both ranged AoE and close range attacks. Combat is fast-paced hack and slash with elemental effects, making for some really fun gameplay. This is where the fun comes in. As players can mix and match different teams of characters depending on the activity, you can also team up with other players in such activities such as domains. This also means picking characters to main, and that can be a bit tricky, especially when new characters are released. This means planning which characters to use resources on, as it makes more sense to grow a few characters at a time rather than spreading them across too many characters. As new characters get released quite regularly, sticking to those plans, well, it can sometimes be a lot harder than first thought. Some characters are only available for a limited time only, so it'll be up to you whether you want to use your wishes for that character. While you spend a lot of your time leveling your own characters and doing some solo quests, there is co-op available cross-platform, meaning you can team up with a friend no matter what they're playing on, just as long as you're on the same server. This is great for taking on domains or even oceanids, which can be a great help especially if you're new or simply prefer playing with some friends. As loot is all personal, as long as you have resin to claim loot, you and other players in co-op can gain some useful materials together. Resin does have a cap, but this was increased a while back to 160, which is a bit more generous than when Genshin Impact was first released. Player housing comes in the form of an interdimensional Serenity Pot, your own land that is split into a few different floating islands where you can customize and even craft furniture. Leveling up this special area will also let you unlock growing things, placing your own characters there will even help to increase their friendship levels. What's also fun is that you can visit your friends' teapots as well, and it provides a sort of game within a game experience which Genshin Impact is no stranger to, as there is also fishing now, gathering materials such as flowers as well as other materials, and chopping tree wood now too, as well as your usual cooking and crafting. These added world interactions just makes Genshin a much more solid experience than ever before. When it comes to monetization, Genshin Impact uses a free-to-play model with microtransactions. While the game does rely on using Primogems to wish or summon new characters or upgrades, there is also a lot of in-game content that provides ways to earn Primogems, such as through quests, events, and more. There are also ways to gain free characters through the main story, as well as using other forms of currency in Paimon's bargains when a character is up for grabs. Hoyoverse has also in the past given away free characters, including the crossover with Horizon Forbidden West's Aloy. Which characters you will gain will depend on which banners you use your wishes on, and any duplicates will enhance your character's constellations, gaining further benefits. There is some RNG in what drops from the banners or even in-game content. There is also a battle pass with both a free and paid version. The free version offers a number of useful items, anything from fragile resin to wishes. The paid battle pass offers a weapon reward for completing the pass, which is useful for those who are looking for a particular upgrade. That being said, there is quite a bit of content here which can be played across platforms such as PC and mobile, making it a perfect game to play when you're away from your PC as well. Final thoughts, should you play Genshin Impact in 2022? Since its release, Genshin Impact has continually been growing its content, adding events, story, characters, regions, new mechanics, and much more. The addition of mini-games or content such as fishing only enhances the overall feel of the game, and we very much enjoy these additions of further ways to explore the world. Being able to co-op with friends also makes adventuring a little less lonely, especially with cross-play, as long as you're all on the same server, that is. But then again, you're never really alone with a party of unique characters, and there's always emergency food, Paimon, to keep you company when you do solo content. If you enjoy a stunning world to explore, a growing experience when it comes to an online action RPG, then Genshin Impact will be for you. For a game that offers this much in a free-to-play package, it's hard to beat, as long as you don't mind some RNG when it comes to gaining characters. Thanks again to Epic Games for sponsoring this video. If you intend to pick up the game on the Epic Games Store, make sure to use our link below. Genshin Impact is available on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, iOS and Android, and is free to play. Don't forget to head to our Genshin Impact wiki, and we also have a bunch of guides if you want to check them out too.